father has it. I have it. My sister has it. You have that power too.
We're home.
What is going on, my Star Wars fanatics? Critical Redemption here, bringing you a Star Wars The Force Awakens spoiler review. So this review contains spoilers that I will speak about. So right now, if you're watching this video and you do not want to be spoiled, click off right now and just go to another video, because I will be spoiling a lot and getting into a lot of things. So with that being said, let's get into it. I mean, the hype train for this movie has been over the roof. I've been waiting to see this film for I don't know how many weeks now, and just waiting and seeing these epic, amazing trailers released from J.J. Abrams has been astounding. I mean, the themes, the new hope, just hearing everything makes you want to see the film. We have a strong cast returning and some new people. You have Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, Carrie Fisher as Leia, Daisy Ridley as in her first amazing film as Rey, Harrison Ford as Han, John Boyega as Finn, Mark Hamill, not much, Oscar Isaac, and a whole bunch of other cast returning. Even the original actor for Chewbacca returned. But with that being said, the new Chewbacca actor is the one who runs and does all the action sequences, and the one where you're just getting close-ups of Chewie, that's Peter Mayhew. And I have met Peter Mayhew, very nice guy, but has a lot of leg problems. So, what I thought about this film, I thought, well, it was amazing. I mean, just stepping out of the theater yesterday was just mind-blowing. I just had such a fantastic time with this film. And J.J. Abrams, I was a little afraid, to be honest, with his approach to Star Wars. But you know what? His approach to Star Wars was much the same from George Lucas. Although it seems to have paid even greater dividends. Wow, unlike Lucas's prequel trilogy, this is a bewilding science fiction. But it's a personal fantasy adventure, and it also connects the three original films in much the same way as what he was doing with Star Trek. There are moments of drama, and there's huge excitement. I mean, you'll have that 70s vintage feel, which I really like, and Oscar bringing his Poe Dameron role, you feel that 70s vintage. And I mean, he brings that role and does such a great job. I mean, a young woman and a young black man, neither one is obvious to the Skywalker, but the new heroes of The Force Awakens are brightly drawn and occasionally surprising, which is really good. And there's so much pleasure to spend time with Rey, and she's a scavenger from a far-flung junk pile of a planet called Jakku. And you will hear this name of Jakku plenty of times. And then there's Finn, played by John Boyega. He's aka a stormtrooper, FN 2187, and he's part of the First Order. And he goes and does his own thing, and after his squad puts a village to death in the search for the Skywalkers, he decides to make his own fate. Both are brave, charming, and funny, which is fantastic to see, but in very different, complementary ways. Okay, Rey is a testy, decisive, and independently minded, while Finn, on the other hand, only wants to be thought of as that freedom fighter he's not quite sure he's cut out to be. So think about it. If you think about it, he's partly inspired by Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac, the Resistance best pilot. And I have to say, I wish we would have seen more screen time with Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron, because I love his character. Such a strong feel, and along with his adorable droid BB-8, I fell in love with BB-8. You know, I've seen so many BB-8 toys out there, and he is responsible for bringing Rey and Finn together, which is where the story takes place. Poe is dashing, dry-humored, and a swashbuckler, kind of like your average Han Solo. He's like Han Solo with 40 years ago, and the likeness is more striking considering Han himself is also in this movie. Also, while Luke and General Leia, played by Carrie Fisher, still are in this movie, no, she's no longer a princess. Also present mainly is a torch-passing Han and Chewbacca. Peter Mayhew returns, like I said, plays a huge role in this movie, for giving Solo a rough chin world weariness, where he still has that cockiness to him, which is brilliantly seen in this film. You'll feel right at home if you've seen the original films. He's half brave, half anxious, while Chewie is still acting like a kid, and it's funny to see their relationship grow throughout this movie. Among the other newcomers, you have Lupita, who plays a nicely space pirate, Maz Kanata. And Maz Kanata, I didn't really think she was going to be such a huge part of this, but think of an orange Yoda with an in-house sky band. This is where she comes in. She's kind of like against the First Order. The Stormtrooper Captain Phasma feels a little underplayed. I thought Captain Phasma was going to have a huge role in this movie, but I guess not. Domhnall Gleeson as the Eateral General Hawks did a really good job, even though you really just see him as a Striderong snarling. And he does a good job being this Supreme Leader. But with that, Supreme Leader Snoke is a whore with a face that makes the Emperor look like Zac Efron. I mean, his face is so deformed, you would probably see and look away. I mean, even when Kylo Ren like confronts his image, it's just like, wow. Abraham and his co-writers Lawrence and Michael keep the drama, and it's really clean cut for the most part. The Force Awakens is a 4-person story, so 3 of them are Rey, Finn, and Han. The 4th is Kylo Ren, played by Adam Driver, and I'll get into his role in a second. He's a hot-headed, rationalized dark side person whose red lightsaber splutters and crackles, and violently he has a temper. And you'll see this throughout the movie. His temper is kind of funny, but kind of creepy at the same time. So, let's get into Kylo Ren's persona. Okay, you have Adam Driver, who's been in tons of comedy movies. I didn't really think he was going to do a good job, but wow, was I wrong. The hype train for Kylo Ren has been amazing. I mean, I have fallen in love with Kylo Ren's character. And just seeing the whole obsession with Darth Vader is astounding. Okay, so to describe Kylo Ren as these films, Vader would be accurate in a sense, but think about it. Kylo Ren, black cloak, polished headgear, and a husky voice. But it would also be an undershell that deep within his character has been crafted by Abrams himself, and also the wells of an emotional, driven invest in Kylo Ren. And throughout seeing Kylo Ren, he's scary, his presence, and he's not a most family friend person you want to be throughout the movie. I mean, he was very brooding. His character was very addicting. And what I mean by addicting is when you see him order the First Order around with the stormtroopers, you feel that Darth Vader vibe. You get that Darth Vader vibe. And I didn't really expect him to unmask himself, but when he had brought Rey into the First Order, into his little chamber or what have you, and lock her up, she said, "You'll never be anything like Darth Vader. You're a monster." And then that's when he removes his mask. And you see this, you think you would see a scarred Kylo Ren, but no, you don't. It turns out that Kylo Ren is the son of Princess Leia, or General Leia, when Han Solo, Ben Solo. And the reason that you see him unmask himself is because he wanted to show himself that he wasn't, you know, a robotic person like Vader was. And, you know, he still has that. Why, you know what? I don't understand. Why do all the Skywalkers and Solos have such real good hair? I mean, he unmasks himself and you see this like L'Oreal freshed black hair. I mean, I really didn't think I was going to see a good face under that mask, you know. But I guess he wears that mask in honor of his grandfather. Yes, Darth Vader is his grandfather. That's a huge spoiler, but you get spoiled in the beginning of the movie, or somewhat in the middle of the movie. I'll avoid straying into spoiler territory, but I've already said the 3 original Star Wars films were about young goodness, triumphing, and ingrained evil. The Force Awakens very cleverly turns the narrative back on itself. So, it's storytelling like this. It's addictive, bold, and wildly exciting that sends The Force Awakens surging through this straight to your heart, and you'll have so much fun watching this movie. The soundtrack by John Williams, the score is amazing. John Williams is 83 years old and he still pulls off such an amazing score. You feel that score in the beginning, and just the opening sequence, that 70s vibe you get when the yellow text scrolling up and the amazing John Williams score theme song of Star Wars playing, you are right at home. I mean, even when I started watching, the audience started clapping in the beginning. It was so intense, and you felt the audience felt like a family to you. I mean, I'll confess to crying 3 times during this film. One during Rey and Finn's escape from Jakku, where I realized that Star Wars was in safe hands, and you already knew this from the beginning. Again, during one particular Kylo Ren scene, which I've got out of my way, is when he kills his own father. I knew from that moment on, when Kylo Ren stepped into that bridge and Han Solo called him Ben, he walked up to him and told him, "You don't need that mask, unmask yourself." He goes up to him and you see this connection. You think that Kylo Ren or Ben is gonna be dramatic, and you see his emotion within his eyes, and you see him, you think he's gonna turn to the good, you know, and then he just takes the saber, puts Han's hand on it, and stabs him right in the chest. The last few moments you see are just breathtaking and emotional. I mean, wow. Just seeing him stab his own father, and then saying he helped him finish what he was going to start. It's just really depressing. And then you see Hans grab his face one last time, Ben's face one last time, and he falls to his death. And just Chewie. You see Chewie right above, and you see him scream. That was just really super depressing. I mean, I couldn't even get into it, but let's get into something else. The lightsaber duels are climatic, but framed by frozen trees and illuminated by flares of red and blue electricity, is which something I really like. I mean, this film had it all. I mean, the characters, the connection. I even thought Kylo Ren was going to be related to someone, and I guess I was right. Kylo Ren is related to, and I'm going to say it right now, I think he's related to Rey. I think they're cousins, and you see the connection. Even in the trailer, one of the trailers, it gives away. When Luke is speaking, saying that the Force is strong in his family, his father had it, he had it, his sister has it, and you have that power too. He's talking about Rey. And at the end, when Rey confronts Luke, giving him his saber, you see the connection. You see the feel that Luke finally sees that Rey has confronted him with his own saber. Just seeing Luke's emotions and his teary eye, and then you hear the New Hope theme song. Oh my God. Just, they didn't even have to speak. And a lot of people were complaining about, oh, Luke didn't speak, Rey didn't speak. They didn't have to speak. Their emotions spoke for themselves. The whole thing was plotted out well, and I really liked that. I had such a fun time with this film. I was so excited to see what J.J. Abrams had to bring to the table, you know, even with Star Trek. And he did such a fantastic job. Disney and what Lucas did, gave it to Abrams, and letting Abrams direct, you know, every Star Wars leaves you with a cliffhanger. This Star Wars leaves you with an epic cliffhanger. The connections of Kylo Ren, the connections of Rey and, you know, Finn. I see them getting together, but man, Kylo Ren had his ass handed to him. You know, he wanted to be that Darth Vader persona. Well, he got what was coming to him. Right when he unmasked himself and he started fighting them at the end, first he gets shot by Chewie. Then he gets initially stabbed with Luke's saber when Finn stabs him initially. And then at the very end, the climatic battle between Rey and Kylo was fantastic. I liked the lightsaber duel, the epic music, but he got what was coming to him. He got his face slashed, he got stabbed, he got his leg slashed, he got what was coming to him. And now you see him in this huge icy boulder like falling, and then he's just laying there with a whole scarred up face. And then at the very end you see Snoke say, well, it's time to complete Kylo Ren's training, bring me to him. And that just leaves you at an epic moment saying, wow, are we going to see Kylo Ren masked? Are we going to see him fully on the dark side? You know, these are things that we have to wait until episode 8. And like I said, episode 8 is currently filming right now, and I am so excited to see it. I truly enjoy this movie. I walked out astounded. This movie gets an A+ and a 10 out of 10 for me. It's such a great movie. It brings back this classic 70s vibe. The characters, the new cast is amazing. Until then, guys, may the Force be with you. Knights and Critical Redemption out. Take care, and see you guys very soon.